There will be a scattering of terrorists in the next 2 to 5 years like we've never seen before. That's what former FBI Director said, James Comey. Check it out. Isn't it strange that we waited 7 years? We waited for ISIS to build up and to make Mosul, which is actually modern-day Nineveh in Iraq, its capital, all the crime that was done against humanity and crime that was done around the world. Just, you can name it, all over America and Spain and France and all over the Middle East. And now, right before the elections, a government that reportedly is led by Iran and American leaders in Iraq, the president of Iraq says, let's go into Mosul now. Let's go ahead and end ISIS's rule in Mosul, which is Nineveh. That's happening right now. As a matter of fact, and think about the implications of this. We're going to talk about the prophetic implications of this. But there's a reason why they're doing this. There's a reason why they let everything build up for a while. We took you to 6 days in Iraq. We showed you how ISIS was getting all their money and their support coming over the fuel lines. The Peshmerga have been right on top of that all along, but they haven't been given any permission from the Iraqi government or American government to be able to stop ISIS. And it's like, you know, there's a reason why these timings and what's going on. But first, let's just take a look at what's taking place and the ramifications of it. This is the president of Iraq decided, now we're going to get ISIS out of Mosul. Let's take a look.
The long-awaited offensive against Mosul, Iraq's second largest city, has begun. Iraqi Prime Minister al-Abadi declared that the military campaign on national TV. Thousands of Iraqi troops from the south and Kurdish Peshmerga forces from the north and east have begun to move towards the de facto capital of ISIS in Iraq. One Kurdish official says the military campaign may signal the end of ISIS in Iraq.
Pleased that the military plans are in place in order to start the operation to liberate Mosul. That would be the beginning of the end of ISIL in Mosul, and we hope that we would be able to end this chapter of ISIS and its history in Iraq militarily.
ISIS captured Mosul in the summer of 2014. That's when ISIS leader Abu al-Baghdadi declared a caliphate and asked for thousands of jihadis around the world to join his caliphate. Now it seems the end of that caliphate could be in sight. Turkish-backed forces also captured from ISIS the symbolic town of Dabiq in Syria within the past few days. ISIS believed an Islamic prophecy predicted they would defeat 80 Crusader nations in a great end-of-days battle in Dabiq. Officials are warning the Mosul campaign could take weeks or months to complete, and UN and humanitarian groups are expecting up to 1 million refugees from Mosul. They warn the campaign may spark the largest humanitarian crisis.
The director of the FBI, James Comey, testified before the Congress and said, when this happens, what you're seeing happen right now, there's going to be a scattering of these people with this mindset, this jihadist mindset, across the world. As a matter of fact, let's go to right now and look at that broadcast from C-SPAN where he's testifying before us, before Congress, and he's saying there's going to be a great diaspora. That word means scattering of all these jihadists. So it's literally, as they're pushing in Mosul, that'll push them up to Syria, and then they'll begin to scatter throughout the world. Something the world has never seen. Let's see him say that. Take a look.
The third element of the threat is one we cannot take our eye off of, and I assure you the people at this table and the people we work with have not taken their eye off of. The so-called caliphate will be crushed. The challenge will be, through the fingers of that crush are going to come hundreds of very, very dangerous people. They will not all die on the battlefield in Syria and Iraq. There will be a terrorist diaspora sometime in the next 2 to 5 years like we've never seen before. We must prepare ourselves and our allies, especially in Western Europe, to confront that threat, because when ISIL is reduced to an insurgency and those killers flow out, they will try to come to Western Europe and try to come here to kill innocent people. We have to keep our eye on it and be ready for it.
It's such a word that we don't use every single day. When you look at the definition, he says in the next 2 to 5 years, there's going to be a great diaspora. Look at the definition of that word. It's the spread or dissemination of something originally confined to a local homogenous group. So we're looking at what's right there in the Middle Eastern, northern Iraq, eastern Syria area is about to scatter over the face of the earth. This is going to be like scattering cockroaches. And the head of the FBI says, right there in front of Congress, he just made that report of saying that it's going to be in the next 2 to 5 years the greatest dispersion of those people with those mindsets across the globe. You know, what are we doing? Thank you for watching VFN TV. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Also, if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe. You know, a lot of people want to abide with the Lord, but they just don't have a plan to do it. You can request that plan today at iabide.org. Don't forget you can join us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download our app and sign up for our newsletter, The Torch, at vfntv.com.